Well, says someone that DeRoy mentioned, more than 100 friends, family, police officers, and supporters gathered outside of Lee's Pawn and Jewelry Shop in St. Louis today to pay tribute to this man, slain retired police captain David Dorn. He was killed by looters early Tuesday as he tried to help a friend defend his store during a night of vandalism and destruction.
And I looked at the phone number, it was my brother, and he called me just crying and bawling and like, they shot and killed Dad. They shot and killed Dad.
No.
St. Louis police are working the case, but they've not made any arrests yet. Well, the evidence of foreign actors inciting violence, hijacking peaceful protests, the Justice Department says Antifa is just one of the groups they have in their sights. Who else? That's next.
Sometimes constipation happens. It happens to birds. It happens to dogs. And that's so much fun.
Yeah.
I just keep thinking about the avalanche thing, and I think, not for me. It's so fun to
The Argents claim a coming civil war comes during 1984.
We're just a group that believes in ultimate personal freedom. As long as you're not hurting anybody else, there is no version of this where the police are not the ones at fault. The protesters have done nothing wrong. They have been attacked and they are responding with violence to violence, which is completely reasonable.
The term boogaloo comes from a 1984 breaking
so.
movie, Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo, considered all but indistinguishable from the original, much as Argents claim a coming civil war will serve as a repeat of the one that occurred in the 1860s. Often the boogaloos sport bright colors or Hawaiian shirts. Experts say that goes back to a reference made online to the big luau, which in turn can be code for a civil war. The Washington Post says those with an association in the movement have shown up at 40 George Floyd-related events or protests. Las Vegas police arrested 3 boogaloos for making Molotov cocktails allegedly used during protests. But it's important to remember, there is no recognized command and control of the boogaloos, nor is there an agreed-on manifesto. And the lack of organization among them and other groups makes it harder on law enforcement.
There are some groups that don't have a particular ideology other than anarchy. So we are dealing with, as I say, a witch's brew of a lot of different extremist organizations.
You might remember our reporting last night about the Justice Department trying to find a possible command and control structure to who is pre-staging bricks and other weapons. What's missing is the link between any one of those groups and the acts. And obviously the lack of organization to any of these groups, the Boogaloos in particular, make it all the more difficult.
Yeah, and often part of the strategy. All right, Leland, thank you so much. So, law enforcement under the microscope tonight. Dallas removing a Texas Rangers statue at Love Field over what critics are calling the Rangers' checkered and sometimes tragic history on race. Minneapolis City Council members are looking to disband the police department, calling it irredeemable and ungovernable. Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti wants to cut $150 million from the LAPD budget. So, let's talk about what's happening in Detroit with Police Chief there, James Craig. Chief, good to have you with us tonight, sir.
Always great to be here, Shannon. Thank you.
All right, so many topics to get to, but first of all, tell us the mood there in Detroit, how your folks are doing out there on the streets, and the status of any peaceful protests or otherwise.
You know, the last 2 days have been phenomenal. I mean, compared to what it was probably a week ago. I mean, no violence, all peaceful protests. You know, we imposed a curfew as well. I made a conscious decision last night not to enforce it. The mood was very different than what we saw days prior. We didn't see the violence that you saw in places like LA or
Can I see that one?
And so, but there was some. And certainly, I will tell you, when I look at what we've done in Detroit, the community has lined up, the Detroit community, because as I've reported time and again,